Hey guys, how's it going? I'm back here with another video, and this is the 7th episode of the series where I teach you guys how to build a full stack application using React, Node, and MySQL. And in this video, we're going to be building the front end part of our comment section. So in the previous video, we built the comments table in our database. We also built all the endpoints that are going to be called whenever we need to deal with the comments, as you can see over here. And now we're basically going to build an interface for this in React, so that we're able to, whenever we click on a post, so this is our website, right? For example, if I clicked on this post over here, it would bring to this page, which is just showing the post, and over here there would be an input at the top where you can put like the comment you want to make and maybe your username. That's something that would be cool, but for now, let's just keep it simple. Let's just add the comment, and then you can press a button like submit comment, and then over here at the bottom will be a list of all the comments that exist regarding this post individually, right? So before we actually get into the video, if you guys could leave a like, that will massively help push the video to more people. I'm enjoying this series, so I would really appreciate if you guys could leave a like. Subscribe if you're not subscribed, because again, I'm putting a lot of effort into this channel, and I would really be grateful if you guys did that. So now let's get into the tutorial. So in order to make this work, we actually are not going to be dealing with the API for now, because we've done everything we had to do with the API. Let me just close this. So we're gonna just open up here our client and just open our React application, right? So where do we want to work with, right? Where are we going to be working in? So which file we're gonna be coding in, right? So the file that we're going to be working with is the post.js, because that's where the comments exist, right? Over here we have basically just a div. And the left side, we divided it into two sides. The left just shows the information regarding the post, and the right side is supposed to show the comment section. And you can see this very clearly over here. The left side shows the post, and the right side shows right now nothing, but we're going to put a comment section over here. So what we need to do now is we basically just have to, first of all, I'm going to remove this, and we're going to structure our project a little bit. So initially, we just want to create a div. We want to divide our comment section area into two. One very small section where it includes like an input where if you want to submit new comments, and the other will be just a list of all the comments. So in order to create the input, we're just going to create a div over here and give it a class name of, I don't know, create or add comment container, something like this. Add comment container. It's just a div that wraps around the input and the button that are going to be used to create a new comment. And over here, we're just going to have another div, which is going to be of class name, let's just give it a class name like list of comments. And it's just going to be a list containing all the comments. That's basically pretty self-explanatory. So for the add comment container, we just want to add an input over here, which technically will just be like whatever comment you want to write in. So I'm going to give it a type of text, and I'll just add a placeholder just so you guys can see it. And I'm going to add something like comments. And then I'm also going to put autocomplete, like we did, if you guys recall, in our create post. We set autocomplete equal to off for the inputs, just so you guys don't see what autocompletes for my inputs. So I'm just going to set it equal to false. You don't need to do this, but if you want to, but I'm just going to set it equal to off like this. So now we just have to add the button, which is going to submit a new comment to our application. And you might be wondering, okay, we used Formic for the create post, right? Formic was something very important. We had validation, all the kind of stuff. Why aren't we using it for this? Well, the reason is because there's no necessity for it, right? This is just an input which it can take literally anything, right? We don't worry about this. We would worry about validation if it was something important, like adding some sort of post to our database. But right here, we're just dealing with comments. And in case you wanted to like filter words out and not allow users to comment certain things, then yeah, you could do that. But I'm not going to worry about that. That's not related to the series. So over here, we're not going to be using form validation. So inside of here, we're just going to add the button, and the button will basically just say add comments. like this. So let's see how this looks. You can see we just have a very simple input and a button. And the styling for this, again, similar to what we did in the previous videos, I'm gonna cut to the CSS being done because I don't want to waste time in the video showing CSS. So now over here below this, we should display a list of all the comments. So how do we do that? Well, similar to what we did previously, we can make an API request that to our API that is executed immediately when our page renders, which is something we are already doing over here because we are making an API request to get the data for this specific post. So similar to that, we can, instead of the same use effect, we can also make another API request, which is going to be to the same URL over here. However, the route is different. If you recall, I'm going to open up my API server over here, my API folder, sorry, and you can see that our endpoint to get the comments is just slash comments, and then you put a parameter, so slash, and the ID for the post. So similar to what we're doing over here, we're already passing as parameters the ID of the post, so it's going to be something similar. However, the only thing we're changing is instead of being posts slash by ID, we're just going to put comments and then slash the ID, because that's what we did in the previous video. And we have the ID because we're currently getting the ID from the URL in itself. So what we do is, inside of here, this should return the list of all the comments related to this specific post. So now that we have this, we get this data from the response, and we need to deal somehow, right? So let's create here a state in our application called list of comments, so, or just comments, actually just call it comments, and set comments as the function. So set comments, and it's going to be a list. So use state, and let's just set it a list. And inside of here, we want to basically just, this is going to represent the list of all the comments related to this post. So when we get the response from this API request, all we have to do is we just have to set comments equal to the response.data, because the data will be a list of comments, which is what we saw in the last video. So when this is done, we should be able to access this list over here and map through each element to display the comment. So we're going to come inside of this div and just say comments.map, and then inside of here we're going to grab two values similar to what we did with the home page, because you see in the home page we are displaying the list of all the posts. Inside of here we're going to just grab an individual comment and just the key so it doesn't give us any errors. And inside of here, we're going to return for each comment, we're going to return a div, which inside of it will contain the information about the comment. Right now, I'll give this a class name of comment, like this. And inside of the div, we're just going to display the comment in itself, so the text that you added to create the comment. So we're going to say comment dot, I forgot what's the name of the actual item that we created. Let's go to server for our model. So let's go to models and comments. It's called comment body. So that's what we're getting. And inside of here, we can just say that we want to get the comment body and just display it in our screen. And if we want to use the key as well, because I know React gives us some errors if you don't use it, or some warnings, you can just do something like this and it will remove the warning. I didn't do this for the home, but it doesn't really matter at all. Just so you guys don't, if you guys are having any warnings, you can just do this and it will fix the warning. So if you come over here, you'll see that now it is actually displaying the list of all the comments. In the previous video, we added a bunch of fake comments to this specific post, and you can clearly see that it is displaying in our screen. So that's amazing. However, again, it is definitely not very visually appealing, and we also haven't added the functionality so that we are able to add a comment directly from our React application, right? Okay guys, but before we actually do that, I'm going to edit this. I'm going to basically just add the CSS, add the styling, and I'll be back in a second. If you want to check the styling, all the code for the CSS, the link is in the description. You just go to my repo, then just go to the branch that represents this episode, which is episode 7, or just click the link. The link will basically just bring you to the correct repo, but that's basically it. I'll be back in a second with all the styling done. Okay guys, so I just finished up here the CSS, and again, if you want to check out the code, it's in the description, but this is how it looks now. Basically we have this input over here at the top where we can write a comment, and the button as well, and then each comment is just displayed like this. If you want to make it prettier, you can do so. I don't care that much about styling, as I mentioned, because that's not the hardest part of creating a full stack application. No, it's not that it's not the hardest part. It's just that it's not the focus of the series. So this is what I created, and now we're going to go over how can we actually implement the functionality so that we can write comments over here, and not only will they be sent to our database and populate our comments database correctly, but they will also automatically appear down here without needing to refresh the page. So how do we do that? Well, if you recall, in our comments route over here, let me just open it up, we have an endpoint called which is a post request, which basically just grabs a comment, which takes in a post ID and the comment body, and it just creates and adds it to the database. So we need to make a request to this endpoint right here, and to do that, it's very simple. What we're going to do is we're going to create a function that is going to be called whenever we click on the add comment button. So let's come over here and just say const. Let's call this function add comment, and let's just create it like this. And inside of here, we're going to make a request using Axios, so a post request. And the request will be basically done to the HTTP localhost 3001, which is what we've been using. And it's just going to be a post request to the /comments route, because if you see over here, we just used an empty slash, which means we didn't add anything else, and this is the comments route. So right over here, we need to pass an object, which is the data that we're sending, which is the body that we're sending. And we've done that before in our create post route. As you can see over here, we sent that over here right after, but we use this data variable that we got from Formic, which we're not going to use right now. What we're going to do is we're just going to create an object over here containing the 2 pieces of information that we need. And if you recall from the previous video, it's just an object that contains a comment body like this, and also a post ID like this, and I guess post ID is with a capital P because I remember making a mistake on this. So it's just like this, and I haven't put the values yet, but basically for the comment body, what we're going to put is the value that we get from the input over here, which we currently don't have because we haven't created any states that actually holds that value. So let's do that right now. Let's come over here at the top and let's create a state, and let's just call it new comment like this, and set new comment. It's just a state that is going to hold what you're writing at the input. So it's going to be use state, and it's going to be a string. So inside of here, or actually inside of the input over here, we need to pass an onChange event that basically will be called every single time there's any changes to your input, which means whenever you're writing on your input. And we're just going to pass it like this. We're going to pass an anonymous function inside of here, and whenever there's any changes, we're going to grab the event from the input and just set the new comment state to be equal to event event.target.value. If you're not familiar with this, this is actually really important in React. It's a way to how you can grab values directly from inputs and set them to a state and just use them later. We didn't need to do this with the create post because we were using Formic, but since we're not using it over here, we need to do this. So now we have a state that holds the value that we're currently writing on our input. So what we do is we can just come over here and just set the comment body to be equal to the new comment, like this. And the post ID will basically just be set to be equal to ID, because ID is already the value for post ID that we got from the params, if you recall. So now all we have to do is we just have to finish this request by holding the promise. So we're just gonna come over here and say that then we're gonna grab the response, and right now let's just console log a message saying something like I don't know, comment added, something like this. I don't like, I'm just gonna put an O. So this is basically the logic, right? We have a function, it makes a post request, it passes as the body the comment body, for which is the new comment that we want to add, and at the same time it passes the post ID so that it recognizes which post we're talking about. And when the request is done, we just console log comment added, and we need to grab this function and pass it so that when we click on the button, so over here on click, we want to call this function like this, add comment, and this should work. But before we actually get this to be done, one thing that we need to account is the fact that in our use effect we didn't pass right here right over here, we didn't pass an array, which was a mistake from my part, sorry about that. We need to pass this dependency array so that it won't be calling the same API requests every second, because what happens is use effect will run every time there's any changes in the state of application, or it will change depending on each state that you put over here. So if we don't put any states, it will basically just run once, which is what we want. We just want it to run immediately when the page renders. And yeah, if we don't do that, it's probably gonna break your website, because it's gonna make a lot of API requests. So now let's check to see if it's working. Let's come over here. We have our comments to this post. Let's add a new comment. Great movie. I love it. Something like this. And when we click add comment, obviously nothing appears yet because we haven't added the logic for that. But basically in our console, it should have said comment added, as you can see. And if we refresh our page, you'll see that it's over here because it was automatically added to our database when we clicked on this. The API request worked, and we can clearly see it over here at the bottom. However, it's kind of annoying that we need to refresh the page every time we want to see the new changes, right? We want to see them automatically. So let me just choose here like another post, because I don't want to keep adding to that post. Let me click on this one, which I wrote yesterday as an example, and let's add a comment over here. Let's just add the first comment. Hope you did well. Just something like this. Click add comment. Obviously it doesn't show automatically, but when we refresh, it appears over here. How do we make it so that it appears automatically? Well, to do that, all we have to do is just update, do something called optimistic update, which basically means that we're going to assume that the API request worked, in the sense that after the API request is done, we're assuming that it actually the data was sent to the database, and it is in the database. And what we're doing is we're just updating the list of comments. So this is a list of comments. We're just adding this new comment to this list. So to do that, what we do is inside of the add comment over here, we have to, instead of console logging comment added after the response is done, we want to set comments. So set the list of comments equal to the previous list of comments. So comments like this. And at the end, we need to add a new comment. And this format over here, it's called array destructuring. I have videos on this. Basically, we're just grabbing the previous elements in the array and just adding a new element over here. However, each comment is an object containing, as you recall, like a post ID and a comment body. In this case, we don't care that much about the ID or the date it was created. We just want to have an object containing the comment body. So what we do is we just come over here and say const comment to add. Let's call it comment to add, which is just a new comment, and it's gonna be an object containing one element called comment body, and this element will be equal to the new comment value that we have over here. So this value over here, and then we just want to say that we want to set the list of comments to be equal to the previous list of comments, and at the end we want to add the comments comment to add like this. And now what happens is it will automatically do that and refresh the page to show the changes. Let's see if it's working. Let's refresh our page. Yeah, and now let's add something else like, hey, please sub to my channel. And when I press the button to add comment, it should automatically appear over here, which is amazing. We also might want to clear this over here because it's kind of annoying that it's still in the input, and also because it's kind of annoying that this our state for new comment isn't cleared as well, right? The new comment state that holds whatever's inside of the input, even after we add the comment, it's still there. So what we can do to fix that really quickly is we can come over here to our input, which is this over here, and give a value to it, and the value to it will be new comment. And value is just whatever appears in our input. So for example, if I, instead of setting it to new comment, I set it to Pedro, you'll see that the input should start with Pedro already inputted, like already here, right? So what happens is, if we set this equal to new comment, like this, new comment, it doesn't matter, it won't make any changes, because as we write on this, the value for new comment automatically updates, and we're automatically changing the value of the input to the value. You get what I mean, right? We're just updating whatever we're writing on the input and just putting that value over here. So why would that be important? Well, because right now, if we have here, I don't know, CS is a cool subject, right? And I press add comment, this won't be cleared. But what we can do now is we can just come over here to our add comment, and after we add the comment to our database, after we add it to our list, we could just set new comment equal to an empty string, right? We're just clearing it. We're removing the value that currently exists in it, just so that it becomes empty. And what happens is, not only the state will update, but also the value inside of the input will update, which means it will clear whatever's here. Because when I click here, oh, it didn't work because I need to refresh the page. So when I refresh the page and I come over here and add something like, I don't know, hey, what's up? I'm horrible at coming up with like ideas like this in the middle of the video. But when I click on add comment, you should see that now this clears automatically and the comment is added to our post. And this is basically it for this video. We did a lot. We finished the comment section. We can, if you guys really want to, I can add other stuff to this. I can add replies. I can add a bunch of stuff to this project. I really want to also add liking. Like, you can like a post if you want to, and it displays the amount of likes. Some people have been asking for authentication. I can definitely do it. I'm open to it because I know a lot of you guys want to. I already have videos on authentication, but I understand why you guys will want to implement it, like have a video on how to implement it in this specific project. So maybe I'll do that. I'm currently under a lot of stress because of finals, so my time is kind of like very limited. However, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed it, leave a like down below and comment what you want to see next. Subscribe because I'm posting 3 times a week, and I would really appreciate if you guys could support the channel. We're almost hitting 10K. We're actually at 8.1, so we're not almost hitting, but I'm really excited to the moment that we hit 10K because it's just a lifelong goal that I've had. So I would really appreciate if you guys could help push my video to more people. And yeah, that's basically it. I really hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I see you guys next time.